Hello, thank you so much for clicking this video today. I really appreciate it. The Midnight Tokenomics have finally been released. This Glacier airdrop that you've heard of, which could actually bring $1 billion to Cardano users that could be airdropped over the entire network. It could airdrop another $1 billion to Solana holders, Bitcoin holders, Ethereum holders. This really could bring a lot of volume to Cardano, a lot of interest. It could bring, new users to wallets, new users to dexes, new users to platforms. So I personally am really excited about it. The tokenomics were just released. So what we're going to do is we're going to be doing a first impressions video. Later this week, I'm going to post another video that's really me diving deep into it, diving deep into the, the white paper, the light paper, and kind of telling you guys everything you need to know, going into the formulas, kind of doing some game theory, some planning. But this video is going to be the quick, first impressions. So we're going to be looking at the big questions that you guys have been asking me for the past 2 years. We're going to be taking a look at the website that was just launched, getting a little bit into the white paper, but we're going to keep it light today. We're going to keep it quick, maybe a 7, 8, 10-minute video, just going into the very, very important pieces that you need to know right now. And then later this week, we'll do a huge video that goes into all of the details. But the things that we're going to talk about today are, pool operator rewards, snapshot dates, is Daedalus included? Is Eternal? Is Yoroi included? We're going to be answering questions like that for you guys, taking a look at this first release, giving you some good informative info, and then I'm going to spend, my entire week making a long, detailed video that tells you everything you need to know. So let's jump right into it. So this is the website that was just announced. I'm going to put this link down below for you guys. You can read the tokenomics white paper here. And this is really just about the token distribution. The first thing I want to say is I know we're really excited about this airdrop, but you need to be very careful of scams moving forward. We're in a time where there's AI deepfakes, there's fake websites that will drain your wallet. So before you connect anything, before you test anything, especially your big wallets, make sure you're using the correct link. Make sure that what you're connecting your wallet to will not drain your wallet, because scammers are going to be out there and you need to be vigilant. You need to protect yourself, right? So make sure, you're not trusting somebody random on the internet. You're not trusting some random link. I'm going to give you guys the official link down below in this video, but even be careful with that. Somebody could make a deep fake of me that's telling you guys how to claim this. So be diligent. Maybe use a smaller wallet with only 10 ADA in it, or, maybe $100 of ADA to claim this airdrop. So this is going to be a multi-phase token distribution. One thing from the white paper is there's actually 24 billion tokens going out there, and they're going to be claimed in different phases. They have 2 examples right here. They have the, choose an origin address, the claims, and then the redemption process. So participants claim their token allocations by demonstrating they meet the eligibility criteria. And the eligibility criteria, we can scroll down here and see some of those. So the Glacier drop. This is the one we're all excited for. Up to 100% of the total supply claimable by eligible Glacier drop participants in proportion to tokens held across key networks. 50% of the total supply is allocated to ADA holders. So this is where I tweeted out the other day that $1 billion is going to be airdropped to ADA holders. That's an estimate. I can make a price prediction because you guys can't buy it yet. I always stay away from price predictions because it could allude to something. But if Midnight is worth $2 billion on drop, which it could be possible. I mean, if you look how much Cardano is worth, this is actually a good idea as well. And I think there's going to be some value with this chain. This really could be one of the largest airdrops in history. This could be a multi-billion-dollar airdrop. And 50% of that is going to ADA holders based on a formula that is included in this tokenomics white paper. I looked at the formula, but that's going to be the details as far as how much are you going to get based on what you have. I'm going to include that in a later video, but from my understanding in the very beginning, and take this with a grain of salt, this is the first impressions video, but it is based on how much ADA that you have. And there are, key snapshot dates, and the snapshots have already been taken. So one thing that people were very worried about is, I have CNTs. People are going to sell their CNTs for this airdrop, so the whole C&T market's going to crash. Well, because the airdrop has already been taken, that's actually not going to be a problem. So now let's get into the claim phase 2. So the first one, as I mentioned, is just based on what you have. 30% is being split among ETH, SOL, XRP, BNB, AVAX, BAT. So if you have any of those tokens, perfect. Same thing with BTC holders. 20% of the supply is going to BTC holders, whereas 50% is going to ADA holders, which are most of the viewers on this channel. So congrats. During this phase, 100% of the unclaimed tokens from the Glacier phase will be processed and appointed between participants, core network constituents, Midnight Foundation, Midnight TGE Reserve, and the third claim phase. So the third claim phase is the lost and found. The amount of tokens remaining, so whatever is not claimed, on the lost and found pool will be claimable by those Glacier drop eligible individuals who missed the first claim phase. So there'll be a second time in which you can actually get these tokens during the lost and found phase. And then this is going to be again explained more into my big midnight video that I'm going to do later this week, but there's a dual component tokenomics model here. So the token that we're going to be airdropped is Night, and Night actually generates dust. And you get this dust from staking the Night, and this dust is actually going to live on the Midnight network, whereas the Night token is going to live on Cardano. And dust is the shielded network resource that powers the transactions on Midnight. And they state here that this segregation enables metadata protection and promotes sustainable operations. So you can read a little bit more about the two different tokens here. Night is a utility token and the main component to driving the Midnight economic system. I don't know if you can see my dog back there, but his name's Midnight. So Night's utility, it generates dust, as we just mentioned, to power transactions. It promotes network security as block production rewards, enables decentralized on-chain governance, and it drives ecosystem growth initiatives like this one now with the airdrop that's happening. Dust is the shielded and renewable network resource whose single function is to allow users to execute transactions on Midnight. And you can see some of it's non-transferable, it's decaying, it's renewable, it's consumable, and it's shielded. We're going to get more into those details later. And I said I'd keep this quick, so we're going to give you kind of the final bits that you need to know, and then we're going to close out the video for today. Okay, so to close the video off, I wanted to go over some of the major questions that I've been seeing a lot of. The first one is around wallets. Will my dataless wallet be able to be claimed? Yes. However, the way that this is going to work, from my understanding, is you are going to have to take your wallet. It's going to have to be a CIP30 wallet. What is a CIP30 wallet? A CIP30 wallet are the wallets that can connect to websites. For example, Yoroi, Eternal, Vesper, etc. So Daedalus does not support CIP30. However, you have that mnemonic phrase. Again, you don't want to give that to anybody. That's all your money. You have to be very careful where you type that in. It has to be a trusted wallet, like Eternal, Yoroi, etc. So what you can do is you can take that mnemonic phrase, you can type it into one of the CIP30 wallets, but you don't have to do that just yet. If you are on Yoroi or any of the other CIP30 wallets, you're just fine. So here's the timeline here. There's going to be a snapshots and eligibility period that's already been taken. The minting is going to happen, and there's going to be a 60-day window. The Night Claim Portal website launches. The Glacier drop claims open to the public. Unclaimed tokens carry over to the next phase, and that's in the scavenger mine. Then there's the Genesis block, and then there's going to be a redemption period. And the thawing is going to be 360 days. What is the thawing? This is going to be, you're not going to get all of your Midnight tokens at once. As time goes on, there's going to be a 450-day period here that you can claim them. You're going to get more and more of these Night tokens based on the amount of tokens that you claimed with in this Glacier drop 60-day period, right? So there's going to be a few different periods here. You're going to have to, stay informed. And I will go as far to say that this channel is a great place to do that. I'm going to follow this whole process. I'm excited to be able to help you guys out again. That's why I don't really make as much videos, is because there's nothing for me to, do for you guys at certain times, but there's a lot happening. So I'm going to keep these videos coming out. I'm going to have video guides for Daedalus, for your Roy, all of these wallets. I'm going to have video guides to show you how to claim. We're going to go more into this redemption period, more in these details, because it's a whole new blockchain that's launching here. And, I'm going to do my best to keep you guys informed. We don't actually have a date as to when this Glacier drop is happening. However, on a Lace Space last week, somebody said that it's going to happen next month. And then somebody said at the end of the space that's going to be happening kind of August time. So timeline, we're looking at July to August. But as soon as we have that date, I am going to share that date with you guys so you can be there to make sure you claim, during this 60-day period. Another thing that I've also heard is, depending on the stake pool operator that you delegate to, you'll be able to earn rewards for midnight only if your stake pool operator supports it. This isn't even possible yet. But Bloom, we're going to run the nodes on top of midnight to support that. So if you guys are looking for a good stake pool, we're always out there for you. However, you're not going to earn anything extra than ADA for delegating to us today. The other thing that I wanted to mention is the next steps. What can you guys do right now? What you can do is just, read this paper, watch the bigger video that I'm going to have at the end of the week. There's a lot of info here. I'm going to do my best to, make it easy and summarize it for you. My first thoughts on the tokenomics, I've skimmed through this paper. I haven't read all 43 pages, but I think it's looking decent. I think we need to get a lot of people to actually claim this airdrop, because it's going to be a much more distributed token, given that happens. That's what makes Cardano so damn good, is that the token's so widely distributed among all of these different people that it makes it decentralized. So if Midnight, has a very strong redemption process and claiming, and this token is widely distributed, these could be very good tokenomics, because they're just giving out the token to everybody for free, getting all of these users to come back during the stalling period. However, if a lot of people don't claim it, then, some of the parties like, the Midnight Foundation or the Midnight TGE, etc., they could end up with too much tokens, because some of those actually goes back to them. So, the best thing, for this token is more and more people come in and claim it and use it. But I do believe the Midnight, or the idea behind Midnight, is very good. It's a good sell. It's a good narrative. I don't think anybody wants to, pardon my language, but show their ass on the blockchain. I don't want you to see when I ordered too much Uber Eats last week and I was, being a lard motherfucker, eating too much food. Nobody wants that. People they want private transactions, and some people, businesses specifically, are going to want to be able to still disclose that to the government. So yeah, this could be a new beginning. It could show off partner chains for Cardano. It could bring new TVL, new users, etc. And personally, I wish them well, and I wish you guys well. I mean, one of the criticisms that I keep getting is it's only going to buy me a cup of coffee. It might. There's no guarantee that this is even going to be worth your time. But that's life. It's a cool idea. I met some of the team behind it, and I wish them well. So, who knows? Maybe it'll get you a cup of coffee. Maybe it'll get your dog a new dog bed. You never know. Or maybe it'll be worth something someday. I like supporting, good ideas and teams working on cool things. So that's why I'm making this video, and I'm also trying to help you guys. So if you made it till the end, comment. The tokenomics are here. And thank you guys for viewing the video. I hope you enjoyed it. The Atrium testnet's closing this Friday. We're going to be launching mainnet real soon. So stay tuned. Join the Discord over there if you haven't already. We've got a thriving community, thousands of users, and we're going to bring a lot of value to Cardano this year. So thank you guys. I hope you have a good rest of your week. Bye-bye.